Hello, welcome back to the Nate Jones story. I'm Carcino from Carcino for Life, and we're here to talk about Al Haymon, the boxing advisor and the man who single-handedly had restructured the face of boxing and definitely revitalized Floyd Mayweather's career as not just being a number one boxer, but being a number one boxer and the number one commodity for the entire sport. How he made a lightweight become almost bigger in life than Sugar Ray Leonard did for a longer period of time. And only the likes of Mike Tyson, with the popularity more vast, Al Haymon was able to make young black men, Hispanic men, and turn them into multimillionaires and lead a way for them to have productive lives outside of boxing when they're outside of the ring, and teach them finances and advice that would help them make money well beyond the sport. And guys have had that opportunity to have different lives. Some chose not to follow that path and go in a different direction. Unfortunately for them, they took that route, but I can't blame that on Al Haymon. Can't blame what people used to do or what they did for a living on the rest of the world. As you see, that's Al back when he was younger. Al Haymon was very unique in getting his point across. That thing about him that is what would be missed is how he often got point across by speaking softly but clear and concise. And you knew when you spoke to Al, you knew that he meant everything he said he was going to do. You would be surprised that this man had so much power with how softly he spoke and how very often he didn't speak at all. But the power was there, the respect was there, and it's still there. Now, this man has recently had a health issue that Jamal Charlo brought out, and a lot of people started asking me a lot of questions based off of the fact that, us being in the boxing world and, the fans start asking us questions. And when the fact that we know Floyd, what's going on with Al Haymon? Is he healthy? What's happening with Al? Now, Al Haymon is a very private man. And being that he's a very private man, he does not really divulge any information about his life to hardly anyone. But he was ill one too long ago. And I spoke to Sam Watson, and Sam Watson confirmed to me that Al Haymon is he's doing well now. He was sick at a point, but Al is fine and he's better now. Just nothing that would bring an alarm to anybody, that they should be worried about Al not being able to make decisions. He told him that, Al's fine. This is pretty much, don't pay any attention to anything that you're reading. Al is very functional. He can do things on his own. It's nothing to worry about. He had an illness just like anybody else have illnesses. Like it was some bronchitis type of thing that he was able to get over and just took time off. He was, recuperating. So for Jamal Charlo to say something different was, quite interesting, but I get it. Well, when you get people that come and go in different directions, then if they want to try to go and leave, being signed with Al Heyman is basically an agreement because he's an advisor. So he's not your manager, he's not your promoter, he's an advisor. And if you want, your career is your own. Now, if you have a contract with a company, then you obviously would have to deal with leaving the company that you're signed to. But other than that, you're pretty much a free agent. But if you don't want to be with Al Heyman, I don't understand why. Al is a smart, Harvard businessman. Um, Graduated from Harvard, just like Bob Arum went to Harvard. He's a very smart man. There's not a lot of black men that are, in this sport. And he was always someone, Vernon Forrest, when he beat Shane Mosley, he was the one in the ring hugging Vernon. That was his first artist. I mean, not artist, but athlete that he's like worked with in boxing was Vernon Forrest. A chance to work with Al Heyman. He really helped Floyd find his own identity, and he was with wisdom, and he was like a father, a rich father. Floyd Sr. knows boxing, Al Heyman knows business. So that's just how it went. And you see Nate right there with Al Heyman, and they all come into the ring for the fight. Al Heyman makes sure HBO never shows him. He does not like to be seen. And when the broadcast goes on, Al does not really want to be broadcasted whatsoever. Now, this man helped Floyd Mayweather ink some of the biggest deals in boxing history that people never thought boxing deals could be put on a scale such as that, at such a level, a high mark. Floyd has to do the work in the ring, but outside the ring, Floyd Mayweather had to make history happen with Al Heyman. And it's good to know that Al is doing better. He's in good health. So anybody who was worried about Al Heyman, you don't have to worry about Al. Al is good. That's what Sam told me. Sam's very close with Al, can speed dial Al. So I called him. He told me, hey, Al's fine. I'm not responsible for that photo. Manny Pacquiao eventually, everybody went to Al Heyman in the end, Well, you got to think about it. If you want to get back at someone, or you want to go down a level where you don't see it. Well, just check with PBC or Tank Davis or whatever it may be. It's a lot of people asking me about Tank and Al Heyman's blocking Tank. What's going on with Al Heyman and Tank? I really haven't been plugged into that. because Al hasn't really been around. Al's been kind of sick, so everything has been pretty much on a standstill on that. But I mean, we'll get information back to you when we get it. But so far, that's like where it is. Al keeps everything to the chest. Now, if everybody want to know how PBC works, everybody says it's on the verge of collapse, and we don't know what's happening. Fighters are the most disloyal people in the game because the game is disloyal. But fighters don't have a lot of loyalty at all. A lot of them don't. They don't. They don't have loyalty with their trainers. They don't have loyalty to anything, especially in this day and age. They don't look at it like that. They feel entitled. And really, they'll just be like, okay, cool, thanks. Now I'm good. I'm gonna go over there with them. And it makes you spent all your money building up a fighter, and the fighter would jump up and leave you in a heartbeat, and he beelining it out of there to go work with the next guy because this guy got money. Not to mention, this guy gave you a place to live, gave you food, let you train for free. He hasn't been paid, and he's doing all this work with you. And then when it's time to, get to the big payday fights, you want to lowball that guy. You know, that's common sense saying, why would you do that? Right? That's a common sense thing to say, why on earth would you do that to someone? Like, that don't make any sense to do that to another human being. But people will do it. Now, it's very hard to find a fighter to say something bad about Al Haymon. Like, Adrian Broner spent up all his money. There's so much going on now. There's so much going on in the business right now. I mean, Don King is still out here doing fights, and he's worked with Al Haymon in the past. Al Haymon has been around since the 80s. See, a lot of you didn't know about Al Haymon. All those Frankie Beverly and Mays tours, Al Haymon was that guy. Al Haymon is the one that paid Puffy and Biggie to do those 30 city tours. He don't want to put the money up for that. Went from 30 G's a show to oh Jesus holes I've never seen before. 30 cities, 30 G's a show. Back then in the 90s, that was getting a bag. No rapper was getting that. Now people get 30 G's just for appearance fee. But that was massive for rap in the 90s. Nobody was getting that. Well, this event that's going down doesn't seem to have PBC with it. I have no idea what's going on with Tank Davis's fight. Well, other promoters couldn't keep up because Al Haymon was paying money to the fighters and spoiling them, and he had control over boxing and the UFC. People didn't realize he had a lot of influence on the UFC as well as boxing. Absolutely. You want to make sure you put that down. When Al first came on the scene, it was very clear. Very clear. When you guys really didn't know what he was doing and what was he about, it was clear. To us, it was clear. To the rest of the world, they probably trying to figure it out. But for us, it was clear dealing with Al Haymon. We knew what kind of man he was and what he was going to have to go through.
No different from if I say, Al, I need this jet here tomorrow, and the jet need to be here 1 o'clock. The jet gonna be there at 11 o'clock. He's a man of his word, and I've met a lot of people in the sport of, just in life, period. Al Haymon is one of the best men I ever met in my life.
And let that be known right there. That's one thing about Al. He's always been 100%. You would never find too many people that would speak on Al Haymon. He didn't like people going into his personal business, but he was the one that put on the Pepsi tour with the Jackson 5, the MC Hammer. He brought the sponsorship deal for Hammer's deal when MC Hammer was blowing up in hip hop. And well, if Jamal Charlo wants to fight Demetrius Andrade, he can. They could easily make that fight. Put it together. It should have been made 10 years ago. But, okay. You made a lot of money because of Al Haymon giving you guys the opportunity. And without really taking any challenges, any really hard challenges, and you guys have squandered what Al has helped you guys put together. Jim Lampley's out here begging for someone to give them a chance to get back into boxing, but he crossed Al Haymon and tried to say Al Haymon was ruining boxing, and he thought he was going to be able to last at HBO. HBO didn't really care about them no more. They're going to the streaming network. Once everybody going to streaming, boxing was going to have to stand on its own. They're not going to pay because the cable companies were dying off. They're not going to pay $150 million just to keep the licensing to have boxing events on their network when it's not bringing in the subscribers and the fan base. Everybody wants to see these miniseries and Disney shows and all this. So boxing is going to have to survive on its own entity and have its own app and its own, because everything's going towards streaming. Well, Dana White didn't know what he was doing when he was talking about Al Haymon. He doesn't know anything about really. He knows now. Dana's a puppet. Now he works for Endeavor. He's working for them. They kept him around. Al Haymon. The UFC is getting passed around like a $2 whore. So I believe Al Haymon has still got a hand in all of this, but I can't confirm it. But Al Haymon has got a hand in Gervonta Davis's fight, in my opinion, until I see otherwise. So I don't know what's going on over there. But when you talk Al Haymon and PBC boxing, everybody I know, that's pretty much, they just say, hey, that's Al. Al is running the show. Well, Jim Lampley continued to bash Al Haymon. And when he did that, okay. Al was not feeling well, but he'll be back. And then there'll be a new schedule on PBC Boxing. And people just have to be patient. Well, the December fight does not have. David Benavidez was supposed to be a part of it, from what they were trying to do, and bring back Errol Spence Jr. But no one really knows if that's going to be the case with Errol. Errol's probably going to sit out this entire year. Well, from September to December, everybody thought PBC was going to put out 5 events. But Amazon Prime, for some reason, I guess they're waiting for some reason, whatever this business deal is. One of the people from the inside said that Prime SVOD will have at least 2 dates at the minimum. That's subscription video on demand, like pay-per-view events. So we saw the Jaime Munguia fight. That was on Amazon as well. So I mean, they got Canelo right now. They're doing work with him. So I don't see a loss for it any which way it's going right now. Because Al Haymon, now you got Canelo working with Al Haymon, and Canelo is still one of the top earners in the sport. You had Tank Davis, who was working with Al Haymon. I don't think Tank's losing anything. So once again, I just don't see a problem. I know, tell me about it. So everybody's gonna keep trying to changing the story around, but like they say, the answer still remains to be a question. That's where we are right now. But don't worry, it's nothing to panic about. The good news is Al Haymon is doing better, according to Sam Watson. Talked to Sam yesterday. He told me Al Haymon's doing well. He's recovering. And that's the most important thing. So there's your health update from the Nate Jones story. I'm Carcino saying thank you. And don't forget to subscribe to this page. Hit the notification bell so you can get all your notifications. And we appreciate you. Good night.